My name is SnoWhyte, and you're watching my channel. Do you ever lie awake at night wondering, what was that movie or game or toy from your childhood? But you just can't find it? I have a couple of unidentified pieces of media that I'd been looking for a really long time. One was Souls Trapped in Pink Bubbles, and that ended up being the 1999 DCOM My Stepsister from Planet Weird. The second one was a blue guy with stuff on his face and some tents. And recently, while looking for SnoWhyte media, I actually came across this. He is less blue than I remember, but he is definitely the guy. And he came from the 2001 SnoWhyte Fairest of Them All TV movie. Now I knew where he came from, but I don't remember anything about this movie. And honestly, I've never really seen anyone talk about it either. So journey back to 2001 with me for the most forgotten SnoWhyte, Fairest of Them All. SnoWhyte Fairest of Them All was written and directed by Caroline Thompson. She's worked on several movies you may have heard of, including Edward Scissorhands, the 90s Addams Family, Nightmare Before Christmas, The Secret Garden, and Corpse Bride, just to name a few. Dark fairy tales seemed right up her alley. The movie was produced by Hallmark and aired on March 17, 2002 as part of The Wonderful World of Disney on ABC. It did air theatrically October 28, 2001, but only in a handful of theaters in the Middle East and Europe. Miranda Richardson, who you may know from Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, plays the evil queen Elsbeth. Kristen Cruick as SnoWhyte, Tom Irwin as King John, Clancy Brown as the Green-Eyed One, and the Seven Dwarfs played by Vincent
Schiavelli,
Michael J. Anderson, Warwick Davis,
what we go?
Michael Gilden, Mark J. Trombino, Martin Kleba, and Penny Blake.
We're not the Disney model that we're all familiar with.
The movie was on a tight TV budget, as stated in behind-the-scenes interviews. I wasn't able to find an exact number, however. Great care was put into detailing costumes and set design.
She had Durham Cathedral in mind. Our little budgets and our stages with low ceilings going to take some real trickery, building not an inch further than the blocking of the scenes required.
According to Caroline, the movie is about a fear of change. SnoWhyte in fear of growing up, and Queen Elsbeth in fear of growing older.
You take two people at those very important moments in their lives, and you see what happens.
The movie takes more from the Brothers Grimm than it does the Disney version, and includes other fairy tales as well, which I'll discuss more after the plot. The movie opens on a cottage. This is Josephine. Now don't get attached because this is a mother in a fairy tale. We won't be seeing her for very long. Just like in the Grimm's fairy tale, she pricks her finger and upon seeing the red blood against the white snow, decides she wants a child with those features. And black hair, of course. She came up with that one on her own. We fade to Josephine giving birth to a baby who matches the exact features. Her husband John twirls the baby around and she names the baby SnoWhyte. The happy moment is cut tragically short as Josephine suddenly dies, fulfilling the trope of dead mothers in fairy tales by Josephine. At her grave, John bids his wife farewell as he must go out looking for milk for his starving baby. A blizzard takes him out and he sheds a few tears, releasing the Green-Eyed One. What is he?
He's part creature and part human.
I don't know. Why are his eyes blue if he's the Green-Eyed One?
Who's no longer green eyes.
Casting? He is never named in the movie, however behind the scenes they do call him the Green-Eyed One. IMDb calls him the Granter of Wishes.
There's a tradition in medieval literature of what's called the genius of the piece. The word genie comes from the same derivation. It's the motivating factor.
I'm calling him the genie. John wakes up to see the genie, asks, "Who the heck are you?" And the genie tells him he's in John's debt since he has been freed. And he asks what he needs. He asks for milk, of course, which he procures for SnoWhyte. John thinks he's dreaming or that this just can't be happening. But the genie persists, asking, "What else do you need?" John asks for his wife,
My queen.
Unfortunately, the genie can't raise the dead. He fixates on the queen bit, and he decides that John must have a kingdom and a queen to go with it.
Surely, everyone needs a kingdom.
John now sits on the throne, being crowned king. He argues with the court he can't be the king, but they assume he must have hit his head, because of course he's king. He's always been king.
Don't remember falling? Well, you wouldn't, would you? I mean, if you'd fallen.
This movie has no right to be this funny. We go over the rainbow and we're introduced to our seven dwarves. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The leader.
Monday is kind of like the Halston of the group.
Tuesday is full of grace.
Wednesday's child is full of woe.
Thursday, dim-witted.
Friday, kind of like the crybaby.
Saturday, basically the hard worker. Sunday, who is fair and wise and good and gay.
Yes, they are named after the days of the week, and yes, they are the colors of the rainbow. This irked my daughter to no end that they weren't named after the colors of the rainbow. and one of them is not like the others.
She said, I don't know what it is, but I really want to have a big dwarf to live in this little house with a little bed and a little table, and he's miserable.
They make the weather and they travel by rainbow, but only if all 7 of them are present. They notice the kingdom has just sprouted up from nothing, but they don't have time to investigate because the gnomes are missing. They've been missing for weeks. What will they do about the mail? Sunday says they should split up to look for the gnomes. Always a terrible idea. And Sunday goes off to investigate the village by himself. We flash to King John making promises about his future to SnoWhyte, and the genie looks on, saying he must fulfill his obligation.
You wished for a queen, and a queen you must have.
Now we arrive to the scene that has haunted me for decades. We see some lawn gnomes, which I can assume are the MIA friends of the dwarves, and the genie walks up to a hut where a witch is chopping vegetables. This is Elspeth, sister of the genie. We get no explanation on the deal between them. However, you can read between the lines and assume he's tricked her in the past. She doesn't trust him, and he's aware of that. He seems very apologetic, but she wants nothing to do with him and the deal he made with the darkness. But he tells her he must fulfill the wish, and he also wants to apologize to her as well, so 2 birds, 1 stone. He says he'll make her a queen as an apology for the past. That's when Sunday walks up. We find her true nature as she petrifies him and adds Sunday to her collection of friends.
One can never have too many friends.
As she turns back to her brother, he shines a mirror on her. It seems to almost burn her, and she can't stand to look at herself. He continuously tells her,
Look at yourself.
Until finally she does, and she's transformed into a beautiful queen. She assumes it's a trick until he's able to convince her, and she skips away to the castle. Back at the castle, everyone fawns over baby SnoWhyte and wants to hold her, but John refuses. Elsbeth comes in. He acts like he might let her hold SnoWhyte, then he changes his mind and ends up running through the garden maze, smelling the roses that remind him of his wife. Elsbeth goes to ask the mirror for the first time who is the fairest, and her brother jump scares her, telling her to
Break it!
John would never willingly give up his heart, so she must break the mirror. She begs him not to make her, but she finally does it. She keeps a large piece that was left behind, and 2 shards land, one in John's eye and one in his heart. He wakes up to Elspeth, who convinces him to make out instead of taking care of his crying baby. We fast forward 16 years into the future. Snow, John, and Elspeth are on a lovely carriage ride. Their reintroduction is absolutely perfect at showing their new dynamic.
Going up your face like a little monkey. May I get out and walk?
No.
We learn that a prince is coming, and the queen is awfully eager to please him, and this does not escape John's notice.
That means we should turn everything upside down?
This is Prince Alfred, protector of the Bear Clan. Remember that for later. He watches Snow and her father pull up as the queen comes in to introduce herself. We see all of Elsbeth's friends, including Sunday, have been relocated to the palace garden, and Sunday has become SnoWhyte's only friend.
Sometimes I think you're my only friend.
She notices a thorn has pricked her, just as Alfred walks up to put a handkerchief over the blood. A new friend, perhaps? At dinner, the king and queen both argue loudly over whether or not they should have a feast right in front of poor Alfred. He says he doesn't need a feast.
Hear, hear.
Damn, John, chill. And the queen suggests games for the party, but Alfred only has eyes for Snow and asks if she likes games. She tells him she's never played, and the queen loudly starts seducing him right in front of Snow and the king.
She would know pleasure if it pinched her. Nor would her father. He's so old. He's much older than I am, you know.
After dinner, Elsbeth makes her way to the mirror room, and honestly, I'm surprised this part didn't stick out of everything that happens in this movie. When she asks who's the fairest, copies of herself come out of the mirror, assuring her that she is fairest. And she gets a little goofy with it.
Mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
Honestly, if I was the fairest of them all, you could probably catch me doing the same thing. Gives the same vibe as, would you still love me if I was a worm? John walks in and tries to convince her to do the royal hanky-panky, but she's not into it and ends up knocking the glass shard out of his eye. She gaslights him.
It's there, it's right there.
It's nothing. Hold me.
And he assures her of his love.
My arm. I would present it to you on a golden platter, if that's what you wanted.
As he's resting, she takes the other piece of glass from his heart. She checks in with her mirror and is reassured she is still the fairest. The next morning, John wakes up a new man. He's smelling the roses and telling Snow they can finally start over.
Sweetheart, it's as if I've closed my eyes and now suddenly they're open. You've grown up.
But I don't want to.
At the feast, the prince and queen sit on one end of the table and Snow and the king on the other. Snow and the prince are gazing longingly across the table as it's time for
Games, everyone.
He of course tries to teach her how to bowl, but when she finds out that the lawn pens are actually lawn gnomes, she runs out. As the prince chases after her, he's stopped by the queen, who wants some punch. She slips a shard of mirror into his glass, and he accidentally knocks it out of her hand, sending the glass shard flying into the eye of one of the guards who will be our huntsman, Hector. The other shard falls on the floor, and Alfred promptly turns it into sand with his shoe.
Clumsy boy.
The queen goes back in the mirror room, terrified to ask, and this time...
Not you. Not you.
In the garden, Snow is talking to the Sunday statue. The prince catches up to her, telling her how beautiful she is, and she does not like that.
I hate that. Beautiful. Do a person's outsides have anything to do with them being kind?
She tries to leave, saying she doesn't know him, but he stops her, saying she knows him.
Just look here.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to back up about 2 steps. In the mirror room, the queen is having a toddler meltdown. Hector comes in saying he pledges both his loyalty and his heart to her, saying he would do anything for her.
Anything.
And we know exactly where that's going. Hector interrupts Snow and the prince, telling Snow to come with him. The prince says he'll wait, and as she follows Hector, his story starts to change.
Where are we going?
Check the traps.
You said my parents wanted to see me now.
The queen comes up behind Alfred,
What do you want me for?
Yes.
and he books it. Pissed, she sends her mirror after him, turning him into a bear. Remember, protector of the bear clan? She didn't forget.
They're it all to her.
This movie shouldn't be this funny. As she threw the mirror, some of the magic bounced off and was able to hit Sunday, setting him partially free. Hector comes up behind SnoWhyte, dagger at the ready, but when she asks him why, he cries, and the glass shard comes out with his tear. Broken from his trance, he tells her Elspeth wants her dead, and she books it. And we get a scene that looks just like SnoWhyte's Scary Adventures from Disney. Hector grabs a boar's heart as she continues running through the night. At daybreak, she falls in her mother's grave.
We left.
Alfred Bear catches up to her, but she doesn't speak bear, so she runs away. Back at the castle, Hector has presented the heart to the queen, who kisses him through the curtains, and joyfully runs downstairs to plop what she thinks is SnoWhyte's heart into the day's stew. John can't find SnoWhyte and the prince, but his horse is there, so he knows they must be close by. He finds the queen eating what she believes to be Snow's heart on a gold platter. She tries really hard to get him to eat, and he almost does it, but he keeps looking.
Don't blame me if you faint from hunger.
SnoWhyte stumbles upon a white horse who kneels before her, so I guess it's her horse now.
That's my horse!
Sorry, Wednesday! John finds himself in the mirror room getting trapped inside. Elsbeth walks in and asks who's the fairest of them all, getting a surprise.
You're dead. A carcass on the forest floor. Food for wolves. I ate your heart myself.
And she absolutely loses it.
Dead. You hear me? Dead.
SnoWhyte ends up at the dwarf's cottage while they're at work. Wednesday makes it back to them, letting them know the horse is stolen and they'll have to walk home. The kettle is still on the stove, so they have to hurry. The queen sends the mirror to find SnoWhyte, and this is such a cool detail in this movie that is so ahead of its time. The queen sends her mirror to record images and play them back when they come back to her. But it also seems like it's a weapon. Hi, Hector. SnoWhyte once again runs away from the bear because she does not speak bear. And Elspeth uses the mirror to teleport, putting Alfred Bear into a snow globe and dropping a pretty purple sash in front of SnoWhyte. Naturally, she puts it on and it tightens.
So you think I'm scared? I can't breathe.
Remember, ladies, never try on a sash you don't recognize on the forest floor, or this could be you. Elsbeth checks her work like a good math student and is satisfied, so she teleports away maniacally. The dwarves come across Snow.
Who's she?
And so does Sunday, who frees her. Confused as to how her garden friend is alive, she passes out. Sunday fills in the boys on everything as they carry her inside the cottage. But Wednesday wants nothing to do with her.
She's trouble.
The guy from Pirates of the Caribbean accidentally splashes some water on her, waking her up, and they tell her they mean no harm.
We're harmless. Harmless as
The days of the week.
They introduce themselves to her.
Monday's child is fair of face. Tuesday's child is full of grace. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Thursday's child has far to go. Friday's child is loving.
And Saturday's child
Works hard for a living.
But the child that is born on the Sabbath day is fair and wise and good and gay.
And now that they have Sunday back, they make a rainbow for her. Back at the castle, Elspeth asks her mirror who is the fairest.
The fairest. I am the fairest.
You just know that was in every trailer. At the cottage, Sunday and SnoWhyte have a heart-to-heart.
Don't push me away.
Can't help it.
I saw your life. People treat you like they treat us. They only see the outside.
Snow asks if she wore a color, let's say yellow.
Yellow? That's my color. First you steal my horse, now you want to steal my color?
Snow asks ask if they could do a rainbow with her to take her to save her father. The others argue, and Snow insists actually it's selfish for her to be here, and she tries to leave. They stop her, saying that they'll go to the palace, but Wednesday tries to make a run for it. They capture him and put him in a tiny cage, and SnoWhyte yells to let him go. We fade to a wolf carrying the snow globe that's carrying Alfred Bear through the forest, and he lands in a stream. There he goes. Snow releases the grumpy yellow man.
Yellow man.
As she doesn't want him to be forced to do something he doesn't want to do, and he dips.
You fools can stay here and die.
We see the dwarves hiding the cottage, but it's being watched through the mirror by the queen. They line up to Rainbow Way, opening the cage for Wednesday to come out, and lo and behold, he's put himself back in there and is pretending to still be captured.
Tell me why. Why are you still here?
Don't you dare try to be nice to me.
They tell Snow not to open the door for anyone and rainbow away. Elspeth places each side of an apple in a different cauldron. One side white, one side red. She tells John through the mirror that this is only fitting as this matches his daughter's features.
As white as snow, as red as blood.
And wouldn't it be even better if her mother could deliver the apple to her? She uses the mirror to shapeshift into Josephine and gloats about how the red side is poison.
Fair odds, don't you think?
Poor Alfred Bear is still in the snow globe drifting down the stream, while the dwarves are playing red light, green light in the garden. They split up, once again a terrible decision, and Josepheth walks right past Monday, patting him on the head. In the garden, Wednesday finds the petrified Pete the postman, and the magic mirror writes a horrifying message above. Just as Sunday almost finds John, he hears Wednesday screaming, and all of the dwarves reconvene in the garden. Meanwhile, Elsbethine is trying to get into the cottage.
This is nonsense. There's no knob.
She kidnaps Monday to procure a key for her and promptly petrifies him. Since he's missing, the dwarves have to head back to the cottage on foot. Elsbethine lets herself in, startling SnoWhyte, who says she's not supposed to let strangers in.
Well, you didn't, did you? I let myself in.
She says they sent her to bring her food, and she brought her prized apples to share. She slices it, eating the unpoisoned side while being really weird to SnoWhyte.
That's my good girl.
Until she finally convinces her to take a bite of the poisoned side, and she falls down dead.
It looks like I've finally left you breathless.
This movie has no right to be this funny. Meanwhile, the dwarves had found the snow globe and were able to smash it against a tree, releasing Alfred Bear, who they tie a rope around and use him to make their way to the cottage. But of course, it was too late. The dwarves and the prince arrive to see Snow on the ground dead and a petrified Monday. They create snow and ice to make a coffin for Snow, and they each take turns saying their goodbyes.
I'll see you in my dreams.
Back at the castle, Josepheth asks the mirror who is the fairest, seeing Josephine's face.
Oh, of course you'd be, but not for long, you poor dear dead little wifey.
She steps back through the mirror and is her old self again. Her old self. From the beginning.
Hey! Open up!
The genie appears and she throws herself at him, begging to be beautiful again, and says that if she gets her beauty back, she'll never want for anything ever again, but he tells her,
Look what you did. She was no threat until you imagined her to be one. Envy is a coal, comes hissing hot from hell.
He tells her he can't help her, and as he walks away, she throws the mirror and it shatters against a wall, releasing everyone from their curse, and the gnomes get even. The genie fades into the distance as SnoWhyte rides off with the prince.
It's the end.
Almost.
And we see them fully fade into the distance as King John waves from his window.
Now it is.
Right, on to Sleeping Beauty, guys.
Watching So what did you think of this movie? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. The movie is available on YouTube and I have it linked with my sources. Thank you so much if you made it this far, and consider leaving a like if you liked this video. Subscribe if you find my content interesting and if you'd like to participate in polls to vote for the next topic. It looks like Fairies from 1999 won the last poll, so I'll see you in the next one for that. And as always, my friends, stay positive, stay safe, and stay tuned.